Hello, people who live beyond the confines of this room. Are you out there? Is anybody out there? I can't remember where that's from. That's definitely from some kind of a TV show or something from my childhood, but I can't remember exactly where it's from. So, hello, happy Monday. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. So for some of you, it will be good morning. For some of you, it will be good day. For some of you, it will be good afternoon. And some of you, it will be good evening. But either way, I hope you are set up for an awesome week and that you've looked after yourself and had a nice restful weekend. Whilst we wait for everybody to appear, we'll do what I usually do. And if anyone has any more interesting ideas for how to spend these first couple of minutes, I am all ears. But what I love to do is find out where it is you are all coming from. So go crazy and send me some messages and tell me, first of all, is this your first time here? Because I would love to know the new arrivals. Are you coming back? Secondly, where are you? That would be great. And then thirdly, obviously, this is now a very large list. What is the temperature where you are? I'm trying to live vicariously through all of you people that live in these amazing places like Dubai and Egypt and other awesome places because, well, I just have to remove LinkedIn. There's something very wrong with LinkedIn, but that's okay. We're all still here. Awesome. It's just darn miserable here in the UK. It went from very lovely all the way through the beginning half of autumn, and now I'm freezing. I have thermals on. It's sad. So please tell me where you're from. We have Lisa. You think it's Pink Floyd? Is there anybody out there? I don't know. It doesn't strike me as a song. So just a memory that it was a TV show, but maybe. Brick in the Wall. I was singing that to my kids the other day, and they're like, "What?" Anyway. I don't feel so old now, Lisa, that you know the reference to Pink Floyd. Anyway, so someone from Germany, Guten Tag. Guten Nacht, I suppose, but maybe Guten Nacht is just before you're about to go to bed. But hello, Germany. We have Arkansas, isn't that? Arkansas? And Switzerland. Now, come on, John Doe in Switzerland. It's got to be colder there than it is here, John. I'd love to know what it's like. Akash, first time come on YouTube. Akash, you're from Zafar's group. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so delighted that you've made the jump over here to YouTube. So really, really welcome. Thank you. Lisa Rose, it's your first time and you have your final interview with Amazon. That's amazing, right? You've made it through final round. That's amazing. And 66 degrees in Bella Vista. All right, for everyone outside of the US, because they're using Fahrenheit, most of the rest of us outside here in the world are using centigrade/Celsius. So to get from 66 degrees, we have to take away 30. That takes it to 36 degrees. And then we have to half it, which takes us to 18 degrees. So that's definitely warmer than it is here. Samuel in Seattle, and it's raining. Yeah. As you say, as usual. Okay. Bite Bitten's back, 4th week of live sessions. Excellent. From New Jersey. Welcome back, Bite Bitten. Good to see you again. Nathan, 2nd time. Welcome back, Nathan. Thank you for giving me another go. You're in LA. Oh, it's cloudy, 12.7. Wouldn't have thought it gets cloudy in LA, but that's just my ignorance, I suppose. Okay, and Akash, you're in Chicago, 19 degrees. Oh. Lisa, you're not dumb, you just operate. Although to be fair, it's very weird because you use pounds instead of stones and pounds, which we use here. You use miles. We still use miles, but we also use kilometers. You use Fahrenheit. Here in the UK, it depends on generation. My mum would use Fahrenheit. I would use both Fahrenheit and centigrade. My children would only use centigrade. So it's all very confusing anyway. Right. So why don't we get going? Because people are now starting to appear. So let me give you my introduction. For those of you who are repeaters, I'm sorry if you have to listen to this all again. Go tidy or something. I am Gigi and I am the Amazon Interview Whiz, which I assume most of you know because you have come from my YouTube channel. I was a senior leader in Amazon for a number of years, and most pertinently for all of you, I was an interview bar raiser. Now, the difference between a bar raiser and, say, a recruiter or a normal interviewer who is kind of just a normal Amazon employee is that those people will generally have a specialist area that they interview in and around, and they'll generally only interview in and around the country that they're based in. If you're a bar raiser, you can interview anywhere, be it technical or non-technical. You can interview across many different job families, and you can interview across many different countries. So I interviewed across France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Turkey, North America, Canada, Japan, and so on and so on. I interviewed across different job families: loss protection, vendor managers, finance people, brand managers, the communications, software development engineers, solutions designers. It goes on. So as a bar raiser, you get a much, much broader perspective of the entire organization and how interviewing works across the board in a way that a normal interviewer or indeed a recruiter just isn't going to get. So I really know what it takes to get hired at Amazon. And I have personally directly made the decision to hire hundreds of Amazonians. Whilst I was doing those roles, I identified that people out there who get specialist training on the Amazon interview process tend to do better than those that don't. No surprises there. Then I discovered it's pretty expensive to get that specialist training. A one-to-one coach is going to cost you about $200, $250 an hour. Obviously, it depends on what location you're in. And to me, that seemed incredibly exclusive. I felt that I could make the whole interview coaching thing more inclusive by creating digital content. So that's what I did. I've got my YouTube channel. I post daily on LinkedIn. I'm on Clubhouse, and I created my own digital program for Amazon interview, which effectively tells you pretty much everything you need to know about landing the Amazon job that is your dream. And of course, my YouTube channel on top of that. And I do these free sessions for you all. So that's my spiel. It's over with. If you were tidying your desk because you've heard it before, come on back. How this process then works is I'm going to ask you to ask me your questions here in the comments box on the right. I should be able to answer almost all of them. There will be some specific questions about that get very, very specific about the nature of a particular round of a particular role that I may not be able to do. 300 odd job families in Amazon, no one person can be an expert in all of them, but I am an expert in the interview strategy, the interview process. Yeah. So if I cannot answer your question, I'll shout you out and just let you know so that you know I'm not ignoring you. Other things to say is please do like the stream. I'll remind you throughout the stream, but please do like it. Obviously, I put lots of effort into this. The more you like my content, the more the algorithm recognizes it's good and the more profile I get. So that's good for all of us. So please like the stream. I will remind you again later. Please stay until the end. I have an amazing freebie to give you that you will absolutely love, I promise. Right. Nothing else to tell you, I don't think, other than to say, please check out my community link tab on the YouTube channel, because I posted a poll there asking you what you wanted in terms of this session. So at the moment, it's been all Q&A. The poll basically asked, do you want all Q&A, or would you like me to do a key topic to introduce the session and then move on to Q&A? So if you haven't already, please go vote in the poll. This session is meant to help you. That's what I want to do. So go vote in the poll. Right, all done now with the intro. Why don't we get to your questions? So I'm just going to scroll down. If you haven't done it yet, bang, 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 type your questions down and we will get going with today's session. Usually it runs for 45 minutes, an hour, depending on how many people show up. So let's have a look. Oh, Mexico. Hola from Mexico, 24 degrees Celsius. Nice. I'm very jealous. I'd love something nice and warm like that. Oh, Arizona's at 27. Nice. Okay. Right. Let's go here. Jasir, welcome back, Jasir. Nice to see you again. Can the bar raiser test your knowledge on various Amazon products and if you are a user of Amazon Marketplace? So let's break that down a bit. Can someone, bar raiser or otherwise, test you on your knowledge of various Amazon products and if you're a user of Marketplace? So I'm going to assume there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that you haven't told me. So I'm assuming you are going for a role in Amazon Marketplace. probably a good assumption. Would someone interviewing you try and test your knowledge about that? Well, probably if I was the hiring manager or a member of the team and you're coming into Marketplace, and if you are applying for a product manager role or something along those lines, I would expect that they might want to test you on your knowledge of the platform and how it works and what the CX is. If you're a data analyst, a BIE, a finance person, probably not. So it's just going to, I think, depend on your role and how close you need to be to the overall CX and the customer for them to get a sense of whether it's worth asking, wasting the time or using the time asking you that question. So that's the first bit. The second bit, can the bar raiser? Well, the bar raiser can, in theory, test you on anything that any other interviewer can test you on. But probability is that bar raiser isn't going to be from Amazon Marketplace. They might be. It's possible that they're from a completely different team in Amazon Marketplace who has nothing to do with the team that are hiring you. If that was the case, even if they were from Marketplace and they had some knowledge of Marketplace, I don't think they'd spend their time asking you those questions. They're not really interested in whether you understand the product, Marketplace. Their job is to make sure that you raise the bar on the leadership principles. So to summarize, yes, someone might choose to ask you about your technical knowledge about Amazon Marketplace, but I would suggest only if you are in a role where that technical knowledge and the customer experience makes a difference. Would it be the bar raiser? Very unlikely. I hope that helps. Moving on then. Okay. Hey, Seri 2014. So, Gigi, one question. As a bar raiser, do you know if the interviewer is a referral or not? If so, is there any difference? So do you mean the interviewee, the candidate? Do I know if they're a referral? If so, is there any difference? So yes, there will be a note somewhere on the system higher that would tell someone looking at that particular section that the candidate was a referral. So if I do my due diligence really well as a bar raiser and I go through all of the different screens in preparation for my running this particular loop, I'll possibly come across that data point. Some bar raisers go deeper in terms of their preparation than others. That's the first one. Is there any difference, i.e., would it make any difference to how I would view the candidate if I knew they were referred by someone else in Amazon? Absolutely not. No way at all, at all, at all, at all. The referral and the purpose of the referral, if you've been referred by another Amazonian, really only has its value to get your resume/CV, wherever you're coming from, to the hiring manager. Once the hiring manager has had a look at your resume, from that point onward, it makes zero difference whatsoever how your resume got to the hiring manager. No one else is going to pay any attention to the fact that you got into the process by bypassing the recruiter and going straight to the hiring manager. I hope that helps. Oh, and the hiring manager obviously doesn't have to bring you to interview if you were referred. They just have to make sure that they review your resume. And from that point onwards, it's up to them whether they interview you or not. Thank you for that, Seri 2014. Let's see what else we have. Big jump, and I always have to try and catch up. Here we go. Yes, okay. Hey, Maria, you loved the video where I looked at job descriptions and connected them to LPs. I'm so glad. I was really nervous doing that one. I was terrified I would get it. It would be a nightmare for me, but it worked really well. Any chance that I'm doing it again? Yes, I do have every intention to do it again. Don't think I'll get it done again this week, but I will, because you've asked, try and get it done for this session next week. So if you come back, here you go, I've made the commitment now. I've made it publicly. Thousands of people will see it, I hope anyway. I will do one of those job description reviews again, this time next week. I will do an ad for it and I will post something on the community to let you know what you need to do in order to submit your job description for review. Okay, I've committed to that now. Done, done, done. All right, Chanel, hello, welcome back. Nice to see you again. Who else? What else have we got here? Hey, Jasmine. So you've been waiting for your loop for almost 3 weeks and it's not been scheduled as yet. You emailed the RC and they told you the system was down. Is that normal? Well, yeah, I mean, systems, all sorts of systems go down all of the time at Amazon. So is it normal for a system to go down? Yeah. Is it normal for a system to go down, the system that schedules loops, and to be down for a long period of time? I would say no. That to me would be a Sev 2, which is a severity 2 level problem. And you would have a whole bunch of engineers working furiously to fix that, because that would cause all sorts of backlogs that would not make for happy candidates, which would then have all sorts of flow-on consequences. So yes, it's very possible that the system went down for a day, maybe. I would be very suspicious that the system is unlikely to go down for much more than 24 hours before someone started to get fired. So it may be that the system went down or is down, and now this poor RC has a huge backlog of work to do. That could possibly be a solution, but keep going. Just keep, as long as you're polite, just keep reminding them that you're waiting and you're looking forward to it. And is there anything you can do to help them? Blah, blah, blah. Clearly you can't, but it's all just kind of stroking the pussycat in the right direction, as I like to say. Okay, I hope that was helpful to a degree. Oh, yes. Oh, I love these. I love these. Happy, happy Gigi. Okay. The questions guy. I mean, you're a perfect Amazonian if you're the questions guy anyway. So you took my course. So you're an Amazon Interviewers Academy member. Awesome. And you got your offer in London. Our Principal Place. It's such a great building. I'm assuming it's Principal Place. It might not be. It might be in High Holborn, which is also gorgeous because the Holborn Viaduct is just a brilliant space. Congratulations. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Oh, I don't know what else to say. Well done, you. It's obviously not easy to get a job in Amazon, which is why you guys, folks, trying to remember that language. That's why you folks come to me. And I'm so delighted that you were able to take my courses and get your job. So have a great career. I absolutely know you will, and enjoy the buildings. I know there's lots of flexibility that's being offered at the moment at Amazon, which is fabulous. But if you can, do spend some time in the buildings. It makes a big difference being physically in Amazon. It has such its own kind of aesthetic and feeling about it. Good for you. Congratulations. Okay, moving on. Oh, I love those. Those make me so happy. Let's have a look what else I want to. Okay, Ms. Z-Tech, I'm going to wait for your next question to follow. Let me keep going. Okay. Okay, yeah. Right. Tatiana. Hey, Tatiana. Such a beautiful name. Such a beautiful name. Okay. At the end, when they say, do you have, by the way, you really, really tricked me there because your A is lowercase, not uppercase. So I was thinking, oh my God, is there another message from Tatiana further up that I've missed? But no, you were trying to just check, am I being sharp? I'm sharp as a razor. Okay. At the end, when they say, do you have any questions? Is it bad to ask the same question to each interviewer? No, Tatiana, I think that is a brilliant strategy. I think it's a brilliant strategy to have the same question to ask each interviewer. As long as it's a question where that pooled data set is going to give you insight, whether it's the consistency of the answer or the inconsistency of the answer, whatever. But as long as that question and the combined variation in the answers is going to be insightful for you, that is a really good strategy. So sometimes people will have the same questions being, what is your favorite thing about Amazon? Or they might say, what is your least favorite thing about Amazon? Or how has Amazon changed since you've been here? Now, you would need to know the tenure of that individual, but hey, you can find that out on LinkedIn. That could be very insightful too. So I think that's a really good strategy. But obviously don't do it for every question. You want to only do it for the questions where that collective data is useful. You need to be thinking about who is this person that's interviewing me? Are they the manager? Are they a teammate? Are they someone from a joining team? Are they the bar raiser or someone who isn't even in the team? And what is the most appropriate question to ask them? Because their different role in the game is going to give you opportunities to ask different types of questions. Okay, thanks, Tatiana. Wow. Wow. Samuel, you had 2 loops and 9 interviews last week, Wednesday and Friday. You must be exhausted. I'm exhausted just reading that. Wow. When should you expect to hear from them? Does a delay in hearing mean anything? So Amazon has, you're at loop. So the SLA at loop is 5 working days. So Wednesday doesn't count. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday don't count. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you should expect to hear from Thursday onwards. And then the same, obviously, knock on the 2 days for the Friday. However, I know from my candidates who are in my academy and from generally hearing the feedback from you people out there on YouTube, they are creaking at the seams in terms of the recruiters in Amazon. The volume is so huge. I have absolutely got it for a fact that they're struggling a little bit at the moment. And those timelines do feel like they are being more missed than met, which is very unusual from an Amazon point of view. But I would suggest, even though I've counted those days for you, that you're probably not going to hear in that time frame. Now, does the delay in hearing anything mean anything? No, not especially if in a world where they weren't creaking at the seams, there was a delay of maybe 2 days, even 3 days. No, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It might just mean there's just been really, really hard to organize your debrief. If you get to a week, 2 weeks in the world before they were creaking at the seams, then I'd be saying to you, yes, I would suggest to you that the decision has been made, but your recruiter just hasn't got round to telling you because they're busy trying to find someone else who's actually going to get the job. Currently, I feel less confident saying that to you because they're creaking at the seams so much. I've had some of my candidates in the Amazon Interview Wiz Academy not hear back for a week from their first interview, and that's got an SLA of 2 days. They heard back after the week and they were moved through to the second round. So it's kind of anybody's guess these days, I would suggest. But good luck. I know we will all here have our fingers crossed for you, Samuel. Okay, Tatiana, I'm going to answer your question because this is important. You've done it again. Capital to start the sentence, Tatiana. Can I give some examples of follow-up questions the interviewers asked to throw you off? No, because there are no follow-up questions that interviewers ask you to throw you off, because that is not the purpose of follow-up questions at Amazon. Follow-up questions at Amazon are there to gather more data. Either you haven't given them quite enough information in terms of what they're looking for, so they will ask you more probing questions to try and get more data from you, or you might say something that's really intriguing and really interesting, and then they'll ask you follow-up questions because, hey, you've piqued their curiosity. Nobody asks questions in Amazon to trick you. That's a dumb use of time. The whole purpose of the Amazon interview process is to gather data, either on your technical competencies or on the leadership principles. So no, I can't give you any examples because no one's going to ask you any questions to trick you. They may ask you questions to challenge you. Maybe you've given them a data point that doesn't quite ring true to them. Maybe you articulated a process where they can imagine in their head there might be a different type of process that you might have used, and they might ask you, why did you choose this? Why did you not choose that? But that's not to trick you. That's to understand how you think, the decision-making process you made then, and what you can tell them about your response to the questions that they're asking you, and whether you can give them more evidence on the leadership principle that they're searching for. So I hope that helps, and I hope that helps everybody else understand, because you're not the first person to talk to me about trick questions or trying to throw candidates off or trying to see if you can rattle them in response to receiving follow-up questions. That is not the purpose they serve at Amazon. Clearly can't speak about other companies, but not at Amazon. Okay, moving on then. Okay. Oh, Ms. Tech. Okay, so you're the L2 that's applying for L3 that you mentioned up there. So you've applied for various positions in your own business area. You've failed one panel and one phone screen. You're confused. Have I seen this before and how can I make sure you're successful? Well, yes, Amazonians don't get other jobs in Amazon all of the time. How can you make sure you're successful? You're an Amazonian, which means you will get feedback from your interviewers. So you need to go to your interviewers and ask them to give you comprehensive feedback on where you didn't meet the bar, because you're meeting the bar, not raising the bar as an internal Amazonian. Although you said you were an L2 trying to get a panel for an L3. Yeah, that's interesting. So an L2 to an L3, so you're trying to get a new job and a promo. That's very rare. In Amazon, you'll usually go parallel for a new role. It's unusual that you'll get a promo and a new role in the same kind of step. I would suggest to you, speak to your interviewers, try and get as much feedback as possible, and then speak to your line manager and try and develop a development program to help you tick the boxes on the gaps that the feedback said that you had. The other thing you might want to think about doing is seeing if you can get a promo in post rather than trying to get a new job and a promo at the same time. It's much easier to get a promo in post and then make a parallel move to another team internally in Amazon. Okay, I hope that was helpful in some way. Okay. I'm gonna answer this question from Maria. Hello, Maria. So I already mentioned that every job has specific leadership principles. Yes. Which are more important than others. Yes. Wouldn't it be logical strategy to focus these in your first interview round only? Well, generally, and I do, as you say, go through leadership principles and I offer a service to do that. Generally, I find about 10 leadership principles noted in a job description. So that's probably going to cover all of the interviews. If you think about the number of rounds you're going to go through and the number of questions you're going to be asked, the number of leaderships will be assigned. So yes, it certainly makes sense to make sure that you have really strong examples for those leadership principles. It's a very dangerous strategy to say, well, I've counted 4 earned trust, 8 earned trust, 3 customer obsession, whatever the rank order is. I'm only going to focus on those top 3. That's a very risky strategy because although, yes, there are leadership principles that are more important than others. When I say more important, I mean 10 out of 16. I don't mean just note 3, because in Amazon, it's never going to be just 3. It's probably going to be at least 10 that are important for the role. But for sure, try and work out what the most important leadership principles are and make sure you have amazing examples for those leadership principles. But I would not suggest picking only 3 and hoping that those are the ones that come up in your first round. That's a very high risk strategy. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Yep, okay. Ahmed, hello. Can you use the same example you used in your phone interview for on-site? Yes, I'm a fresh grad, so I don't really have much other way. Yeah, that's totally fine, Ahmed. Absolutely. You absolutely can do that. So in fact, even if you're not a grad and you're a more experienced candidate, you can still do that. You have to be really smart about how you do it. And if you can avoid it, you should. But it is there as a possibility, even for more experienced candidates. Ahmed, if you can, try and I would give this advice to anybody, by the way, regardless of how experienced or inexperienced they are. If you can, try and use that example for a different type of question. So if you know, and I hope you wrote down the questions that you were asked in your first round and you wrote down the example that you used for that question, you can look back at that and ask yourself, well, what leadership principle do I think that they were asking me about then? And I used this example for, say, customer obsession. So when you are asked another question where you think this is a good example, challenge yourself and say, do I think this is customer obsession? If it probably is, I'm not going to use this example. I'll pick another. Or equally, if you're asked a question that you think is a customer obsession one later on, you know you use that one for customer obsession, so you're going to use a different one. Okay, good luck, Ahmed. let's see what else we've got. Ah, good question. Right. So scheduling a loop for a senior business analyst with AWS. Question 1, is there an advantage to scheduling the loop sooner than later? Yes and no. So the advantage comes from a process point of view. So many of you will know, but the Amazon interview process is a first past the post process. I do have a video about this on my YouTube channel. I'll summarize briefly in the sense of the Amazon interview process is a conveyor belt. So candidates are constantly coming in, being reviewed for their resume, being interviewed round 1, being interviewed round 2 if there is a round 2, and being taken to loop. And many different candidates will be at different stages in that cycle at exactly the same time. When the first person gets through a loop and is considered to be bar raising, the job is filled and the rec closes. It's not like other job processes where they gather all the CVs and compare them and then decide who they want to interview, then interview everybody and then compare them. It doesn't work like that. So the sooner you can schedule your loop, the more likely or the less likely it is that someone will pip you to the post, because the longer it takes you to schedule your loop, the more people will get in front of you. So from a process perspective, yes, it is an advantage to get in there sooner rather than later. But this comes with a very large caveat, which is you have to be ready for that interview. There is 0 point in rushing into the interview unprepared and not being able to give it your best, because if that happens and you're out, then you're out and you're no longer in the game. So it is a balancing act between how long do I feel it's going to take me to be well prepared and how long do I feel, and you'll never get any data on this, by the way. No one's going to tell you how many people are ahead of you in the process or anything like that. So it's a bit of a how long has the job rec been opened and kind of type decision in terms of when you schedule your loop. So you kind of have to find some kind of a happy medium for yourself. Only you know yourself and how well prepared you are for interview. Any tips come to mind when I think of a business analyst? Earn trust and customer obsession. You know, the important thing about business analysts is, you know, the data is one thing, but the interpretation of the data is another. And there are reasons why the data looks the way it is. So if I were you, I'd be really thinking about examples where the data has led you to think about the customer and to make recommendations based on the marriage between the actual data set and what you understand about the customer. There you go. It's my tip for a business analyst. Okay. Okay, right. Lisa Rose, your question is in many different parts and it's scattered all over the place. So you were interviewing for other roles. You've been bounced about. They moved you straight to the final interview for this new role. Is it a good thing? Well, it certainly reduces your risk. If you're just going straight to the end goal and you don't have to get through round 1 and round 2, then, you know, it's great because it reduces the number of opportunities for anybody to be not inclined and push you out the process. It worries that you've been bounced around. Don't think about it, Lisa. Don't think about it. Pretend this is like the only interview that you've had, because you can't control whatever's been going on in the background that has meant they've bounced you around. There's nothing you can do about it. And you can second guess yourself into oblivion trying to think about that and post-rationalize it, etc. So forget it. This is your interview and go at it as if it was the only and the first interview that you've had, and just park all of that other anxiety, because there's nothing you can do about it other than mess up your own head. So there's my words of Gigi wisdom for you, Lisa. I hope it goes well for you. Okay. People are having some conversations offline, which I love. I love it when you all talk to each other. I love the whole community thing about YouTube and my academy. It's very special. So keep chatting to each other. That's amazing. Okay, is the interview process the same for an internal candidate who is interviewing for a different role? Error 404. That's so funny. I love that as a username. A 404 error. Okay, no, the internal interview process is a bit different. So internally, you should, in theory, just have one interview rather than having to go through phone screens, etc. You might have an initial conversation with a hiring manager before they formally accept your kind of application into the role, then they may decide that on the back of that telephone call or chime, whatever it is, that you're not quite right for the role. But in theory, you should just go straight to a panel. You will have less people on your panel than an external candidate would. Generally, it would be 4 people. You won't have a bar raiser as an internal candidate because you don't have to raise the bar. An internal candidate only needs to meet the bar for the role that they're applying to. The reason you only need to meet the bar rather than raise the bar is you are already in the organization. The whole point of bar raising is that every single new hire into the organization raises the bar and lifts the skill level of the population as a whole. You're already in the population, so that requirement doesn't, if you're an internal candidate, that requirement doesn't hit you. So you don't have a bar raiser, and all you need to do is meet the bar. I hope that's helpful. Apologies if you can hear my daughter screaming in the background. I think she's playing Roblox or something with her friends, and I'm sure it's got something to do with horses, and she must be having a grand old time. Okay. Moving on then. Okay. Is the interview process different for fulfillment center to AWS? It will depend on what role you're applying for in that fulfillment center. So if you're kind of a warehouse worker, then yes, it will be a slightly different process. If you are an HR leader in a fulfillment center, it will be the same process. So it will depend on what role you're applying for. What's the level of an IT manager? Well, in theory, I would say that was either an L4 or an L5 role. Generally, the way the nomenclature works is that something which is a something manager is either an L4 or an L5. A job that is a senior something manager is usually an L6. And then a job that is a senior manager something is an L7. So for an example in marketing, which was my area for many, many years, a marketing manager, L4, L5, senior marketing manager, L6, senior manager marketing would be an L7. Some roles use the terminology principal for an L7. So you might have a principal product manager rather than a senior manager product. Okay, I hope that helps. Moving on then. Okay, Victor, right. I can see you've got a few parts to this, Victor. So let me just follow it through. Okay, yeah, okay. So quickly to summarize, if anyone hasn't read Victor's an early one, Victor had an interview loop on Wednesday and Thursday. The recruiters called back and said the HM wants to schedule a third technical interview. So the first question, is it common to schedule an interview after the loop has already ended? It's not common, but it's not unknown. So this happened to me when I was hiring for Amazon 6.5 years ago now, I suppose it was. That will happen if your panel are borderline. If they like you and they really want to hire you, but they feel that they don't quite have enough evidence, and that maybe if they had a tiny bit of extra evidence, that might help them tip over the edge. It sounds like the debate about you in your debrief wasn't about the leadership principles per se, but was more around the technical competencies if what you're having is a follow-up interview from a technical standpoint. Okay, so then your next question does, all right, okay, I answered that. Does that mean you did well at behavioral part? Yes. And you think you did well. Okay, Victor, so fingers crossed. You landed the LPs. They needed a little bit of extra data in terms of your technical competency, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you gave that to them today. So please come back and let us know how it works out for you. I shall be thinking of you. Okay, oops, there you're back again. Go away. Right. Yes, yes. Riza. Hello, Riza. How are you doing? Do I have a video or other resources for the Amazon online assessment? I have a fantastic video on the Amazon online assessment. Now, there are many different Amazon online assessments, but my video is on kind of the universal one. So the one that you get as a general filter. So there are assessments for skill sets, etc. I haven't covered that off, but the one that I have is the very, very first level filter online test, which they use to test your a couple of the leadership principles and just your general decision making performance, basically. And yes, that's on my YouTube channel. It's very detailed. It's very good. It's very good information that went into creating it. So go check that one out. Okay. Oh, Sayo. Oh, one day, Sayo, we will have to meet. My husband's family are in Dublin. One day, when I'm in Dublin, I will be in touch and we will have to meet. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. I'm really grateful. So special that people come back even after they've secured jobs. It says a lot about you people out there and hopefully what I've built in terms of the Amazon interview whiz. Jasira, you're going to get an offer on a weekend? No recruiter really is going to choose to spend their weekend communicating offers. So unlikely, Jasira. Okay. Oh, Victor. Right. So you've just got an email from the recruiter scheduling a phone call. They're giving you your outcome, Victor. One way or another, they're giving you your outcome. So, Victor, be prepared, because if tomorrow comes with an offer, be prepared to talk about compensation. What I tend to say to people is, don't have that compensation conversation as soon as you hear about the job, because what happens is you have a little joy bias. You're so excited to have landed the job that perhaps you're not thinking as level-headed as you might do. So my suggestion is, if it is an offer, and I really have my fingers crossed for you that it is, if it is an offer and the recruiter wants to talk comp, then be very polite and say to them, you're just not in the headspace right now to have that conversation. You're ridiculously excited and so grateful for the opportunity. Can you talk to them tomorrow? That then gives you 24 hours to get it all out, chillax, and also make sure that you have done all of your preparation for what the market going rate is for your type of role, what is your bottom line, which you'll walk away from, and your goal number, and think about where you would want to make the negotiations I suggest in RSUs. So that's my tips for you. Oh, Victor. Oh, I hope it goes well. Okay, right. So moving on. A little time check. We're doing good on time. Okay. Ahmed, is scheduling your on-site for 4 weeks from now too much? I would say yes. If this was me making this decision for my own career, I wouldn't let it run for 4 weeks. I personally, and again, this is just for me and what I would be comfortable with, I probably wouldn't stretch more than 2 weeks. If I felt really unprepared for an interview and I felt I need to do the work, obviously, if you have a full-time job, you're going to have to find time to put in the hours. But I personally probably wouldn't choose to go much beyond 2 weeks for scheduling an interview. I hope that helps. Okay, next question then. Oh, okay. Interesting, Samuel. Interesting. So one of your interviewers asked if you'd want to be considered for an L5, just in case they're not inclined for an L6. How does that work? It's super simple. What would happen, Samuel, is they'd go through the debrief and a decision would be made that you're not raising the bar at L6 level. The bar raiser will then ask the hiring manager, do you have any L5 roles? If they say we really, really like Samuel, but he's just not raising the bar, I think he would be raising the bar at L5. That's generally what happens if people like you, but they just feel you're not raising the bar. The bar raiser would say to the hiring manager, do you have any L5 roles available that we could put Samuel in? If they do, super simple. The hiring manager says, yes, I do. Then everyone else decides, do we believe that Samuel is bar raising at a 5 rather than a 6? The bar raiser will then say, fine, yes, I agree. He's raising the bar at 5, and an offer will go to you through your recruiter as an L5. What might also happen is the bar raiser could ask the hiring manager, do you have an L5? No. Are you willing to de-scope this role to make it an L5? So what that means is the hiring manager has to take elements out of the role to lower the scope and responsibility, because they cannot just hire you into the same role with exactly the same scope and responsibility and make you more junior than the original role. That's grossly unfair. So they cannot do that. So the hiring manager will, the bar raiser will say, what elements of this role, because they've read the job description, are you going to de-scope so that Samuel can come in as an L5? And who are you going to give that work to? That's the job of the bar raiser, to make sure that some of that rigor is upheld and nobody does anything cheeky that they shouldn't be doing just to get someone who isn't quite up to the standard that they need to be into the organization because they need to fill a seat. So that's how that one works. It's interesting that they asked you that in the interview. Samuel, I've got to tell you, if someone asked me that, or if I felt compelled to ask that of a candidate, I've probably already formed the opinion in the interview that they're not quite raising the bar as an L6, but I like them and I think they could raise the bar at L5. So obviously that will come out in the wash when they have the debrief, because that's only one interviewer, right? It's not even the hiring manager. You didn't say it was the hiring manager. And that conversation has to be had with the entire group. But that would be my take out of that conversation. Okay. Oh, yeah. Comp question. Tracy, hello. Comp question. I'm getting more and more of these recently, which is interesting. What generally happens at year 5, at the point where the stock and bonus has ended? Is it common to just continue with base salary? Okay, so sign-on bonus usually goes after year 2, if I remember rightly. So you've already lost that by year 2. Stock, you will still get stock in year 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, going on, because stock is a core part of the Amazon compensation model. It's a core part because they're trying to aim for people to have a long-term interest in staying at Amazon. And the longer they stay and the harder they work, the more valuable their shares will be. So you will continue to get allocated stock ad infinitum. The difference is, and this is why I'm sure some of you are hearing about this concept of the Amazon cliff. What will happen is when you're made an offer, they make you an offer across 4 years. They're goal seeking a particular total compensation to give you for each of those years. So let's say they're goal seeking $250,000. I made that number up. They'll try and create that through a combination of different things. In year 1, it will be base, sign-on bonus, and stock. In year 2, the sign-on bonus will decline, but the stock will go up in order to reach the compensation of 250. In year 3, it will be based on your base salary and stock. In order to come up with the 250, they say, hey, we're going to give Gigi a base of 150,000, and then we're going to give her stock. We're going to give her 52 RSUs. God, who wouldn't love 52 RSUs at the current share value? Because we are predicting their share value will be $100,000, and that makes up Gigi's comp of $250,000. Now, if the share value outperforms their forecast for the share value, what happens is instead of Gigi getting $250,000, Gigi might end up with $400,000 because the stock market played in her favor. However, when you get into year 5, actually they'll do the review at year 3 for what you will get in year 5. They do the kind of the rollouts much further in advance than just 1 year. So year 3, they'll start planning for what they'd give you in year 5. They reassess the value of the stock at that point in time. Originally, they planned it in year 2. By the time you get to year 3, they're going to be saying, well, in year 5, the stock value is likely to be blah, so we don't need to give Gigi as many RSUs in order to be able to get to $250,000. So suddenly Gigi's total compensation drops from $400,000 to $250,000. Well, yeah, that sucks for Gigi because she's just spent a year or 2 earning mega bucks. But hey, that's not Amazon's fault. They were always goal seeking $250,000, and that's what Gigi signed up to at the beginning. So the drop sucks, but that's the markets, and that's the name of the game when you get RSUs as your stock, as part of your total compensation. So I hope that makes sense, Tracy. I think it does. Right. Okay. Right, quickly, because I say that I will tell people if I can't answer their questions. Shivaraj, that's an impossible question to answer. There's no way of knowing the odds of you getting a call when your application's been under consideration for 7 days. Okay. Right, what else do we have? Right, so just a quick one. Please do like the stream. Right. As I said at the beginning, if you were here, it's so important to the visibility of my content that people comment and that they like the content. It means the algorithm gets cues that this is good content and this is good content. Like, really, I'm hoping this is very valuable, and it's about as expert as you're going to get on YouTube. So I'm just going to ask you all to take a couple of seconds to go and click the thumbs up bottom. Oh, whoops, sorry. Button. I don't know where that Freudian slip came from. That's horribly embarrassing. Click the like button on the stream. So I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1, and then you're all going to go and click the button, and I'm going to sing a ridiculous song. So 3, that's not a 3, that's a 3. 3, 2, 1, go. Like the stream, like the stream, like the stream, like the stream. That counts for you people on replay. Count the stream, like the stream. Okay. It's very humiliating to have to beg, but I have to do it in order to be able to get some likes. So please, I hope you've done it. I can't see if you have or not, but I'm going to go on good faith. The other thing, actually, I'll say before I get too far in the end. Lots of you have answered my poll about whether you'd like this entirely Q&A or if you want a key topic and then Q&A, and it's looking like key topic and then Q&A. So if you are one of those people that would like me to talk about a key topic at the beginning of these sessions and then do a Q&A, please put in the comments what key topics you would be particularly interested in hearing from me about. Okay, put it in the comments and I will review it. And I will aim for next Wednesday, because we're going to do the live job descriptions on Monday. I will aim for that new format for next Wednesday. Okay, let me see what else I can get for you here. Okay. But that's our trainer. What are you talking about? I can see banana in what is that? Are you talking about the person that visited here not so long ago that was their username was banana in condom? Are you talking about them? Oh, you mean the bum thing? Oh, that was like Gigi's past life. I'm so forgotten about by now. I have such a short memory. Yes, it's exactly like that. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. Oh, we've got another one. Oh, Kamran. Oh, you've got an L6. Oh, congratulations. Oh, and thank you so much for sending people my way. It makes such a difference. I sit in this little room. Maybe it's not that little. I'm, world's smallest violin. I sit in this room all the time, staring at this machine, trying to create content, trying to support you in achieving your goal and making all of this accessible to people and not charging you thousands of dollars for it. And it's really great to get this feedback because it makes me feel like I'm spending my time well. So thank you very much for coming on and letting me know, Kamran. I'm very, very grateful. And congratulations. It's going to be amazing for you. Congrats. Okay. So a couple of people asking me about key leadership principles for a specific role. I can't tell you that. Honestly, the leadership principles vary massively according to roles. I do offer a service where I review leadership principles for specific job descriptions. And I can tell you, I've reviewed multiple job descriptions for product managers and solutions designers and engagement managers. And they differ enormously because it's all about what the business unit needs, what the team needs, and even what the hiring manager is looking for. So I cannot give you general, these are the leadership principles to look for. In things like business analysts, there are a couple of things that I can give you tips on because I've worked very, very closely with business analysts, but I've never worked with a logistics coordinator as an example to be able to give you any insight there. I'm sorry. Okay. Kunwa, you are more than welcome. Thank you for coming on and saying thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so, right. So we look like we are at the bottom of all of the questions now, and we have 5 minutes to go. So I'm going to pause briefly and say, before I move on to giving you the best freebie you're going to get this week, maybe even this month, maybe. It does depend, of course, if you're given any free food, because quite frankly, free food for me anyway is the best freebie anyone can ever be given. But and lipstick. Lipstick is another one. But I'm about to give you the best freebie you're going to get this month. So unless anyone has any other questions, I am going to jump onto that freebie. Okay, I'm going to do that. So do not go, because you will regret if you do not get this freebie. Let's stick that up. So here we go. Have I got it right? I have. I've started the right end. The Amazon Interview Whiz Academy. That is where you will find a customer obsession masterclass, totally free. I will not chase you with follow-up marketing. It will tell you about the 4 facets. There are 4 facets to customer obsession. You may not know it, but there are the 4 different facets of customer obsession, and that will help you pinpoint exactly the right examples to bring in from your career history. It will tell you what the interviewer is looking for, like really tell you what the interviewer is looking for, so you know exactly what you need to say. And it will show you a mock interview, so you can see exactly how you land those things in interview. Completely free. I will not chase you with follow-up marketing. I give it away free because obviously I want you to try my content and absolutely love it and get jobs in the way some of our viewers today have managed to get jobs as a result of my academy. Or if you don't feel that's what you want to do, I'm giving customer obsession away for free, because I can pretty much guarantee, bet my children's life, that every single one of you, if you make it all the way through to loop, will get asked customer obsession. So in that I was giving one away for free, that was the one that will give everybody the most value. And that is what I'm all about. So on that note, I think that is it for today's session. So I will be back on Wednesday. If you want to come back again, if I didn't get to your question, or I think I got through to most questions today. And hopefully next Monday, what we can do is the leadership principle deep dive on the job description. I will do an advert and a post about how you go about at least putting your job description into the pot for me to potentially review on Monday. So for now, congratulations, those people who managed to land roles. I am literally over the moon. I love these days when people come on. It's generally, I have a couple at every single session, but it's so exciting. Better than Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays where I don't speak to anybody. So well done, you people. For anyone that's got an interview coming up, obviously I have my fingers very tightly crossed. Please go through my YouTube channel. There's very rarely a question anybody asks me at these live sessions that I have not got a video on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't, please go through the YouTube channel. Please remember to like the stream before you disappear off today, and put in a comment what key topics you'd like me to cover in future Q&As, or click on the poll and let me know what your preference is. At the moment, it's like 97% of people are asking for a key topic and then the Q&A. So if you disagree with that, make sure your voice is heard. You have to vote in order to be considered. That's another thing. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, people. Be safe. Look after yourselves and your families. And it was great fun to talk to myself. Be safe. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.